Hello, what's going on, family? Thank you so much for tuning into this video here today. I'm really excited to hop on and share a very powerful tool that I've learned within the last several months, actually right towards the end of last year. It was actually around the time that the LA fires were really going off over there in California. There was an event called the LA Fire Recovery that I dove into with the Flow Research Collective. They're a very powerful organization diving into all kinds of neuroscience around being in flow states, and they brought together a bunch of powerhouse speakers into this experience to really help uplift the energy for everyone and to really support everyone and just having some sort of community support and just like that grounding, anchored type of space for everyone that was going through some challenges. I personally wasn't affected by the fires, but I still tuned in because I love the Flow Research Collective. Anyways, with all that said, the tool that I'd like to introduce today is called horizon shifting. Now, one of the speakers was a former Navy SEAL. His name is Rich Divini, and he actually introduced this tool while we were in the experience. And with horizon shifting, it's just a really powerful way for you to cultivate a sense of certainty during uncertain times or during chaotic times or whenever there may be unexpected emergencies transpiring. And I find it very useful even in your normal day-to-day life to utilize as a means to really dial you into a sense of focus, to help access that higher state of consciousness that's also known as a flow state. And it really just helps, again, generate certainty. And when we have certainty, we will actually execute towards anything that we have certainty towards, whether it's a goal, a task, a mission, an operation, anything. So this tool is really simple, and if you're feeling a resonance so far, I highly recommend to take a few notes. So with horizon shifting, there's three components. You have the duration, which is the time period of how long your task, your operation, your mission, this kind of stretch of time will be during the horizon shifting. You have your halfways. And with your halfways, these are essentially like little tasks or key points or stepping stones that you wish to reach along the way. And you also have your outcome. So the desired outcome, what is it that you're moving towards? What's the goal? What do you wish to have unfold? Obviously, where we direct our focus is where our energy flows and where our energy goes. And so this is a really powerful way to also see the outcome in its highest potential and its highest expression. So again, duration, halfway, and outcome for horizon shifting. Now I'm going to give you two examples that I have for my personal life in which I use this. One of which was on a run today earlier, and then another one was on an emergency situation, or I wouldn't consider it an emergency, but it was through a really intense storm that came in out of nowhere. And then I'll do my best to give you maybe a few examples of how you can use horizon shifting in your day-to-day life. Because ultimately what we perfect and what we practice is what we will ultimately master and what we'll utilize unconsciously in our day-to-day life. So that way when an emergency situation happens, instead of not knowing what to do, we can immediately utilize the tools, the practices, these states of consciousness that we're regularly attuning to, and we'll be able to get into those states more easily rather than being frantic or hyper aroused or scattered and chaotic. So with this, the first example, earlier today I went for a run, and the run was a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. And before I started my run, I really like to make runs very devotional, intentional practices because they really resonate with my soul and they put me in unique states of consciousness where I pray and I create videos like this afterwards. And the overall duration of this run, right? That's the first step for horizon shifting, duration. I wanted to run this in 22 minutes or under. And the halfways for the run, I just take a route that literally goes out for about 1.5 miles, slightly further, and then 1.5 miles back in. So my halfways were literally just to go all the way out to that turnaround point and come back. So the turnaround point and getting to the finish line were my halfways that I wanted to reach while I was running. That's the second key point, the halfways. And the outcome. I wish to run this 5K in 22 minutes or less and to feel uplifted, to feel strong, connected to my breath, really focused during the run. And that way when I finished, I could be in a mood of celebration, be in that elevated state of consciousness, accessing that runner's high. And I wanted to finish this run injury-free, feeling strong in my body. And those were some of the key goals, the key focal points that I was tuning into for the outcome. And as a result, as I went into the run, I had an amazing time, felt really connected to all the plants and animals surrounding me as the run was out in nature. I hit the run in like 21 minutes and 50 seconds, which is pretty solid. I really love timing myself and pushing my edges with like metrics sometimes. And yeah, I hit my halfway smoothly, and I was back before I knew it. And that's what's beautiful, is this again puts you in a heightened state of consciousness, into a flow state where time collapses and you just intuitively know what to do. Your mind-body connection is heightened, and instead of like counting down the miles or counting down the time, you're just like in the zone, and before you know it, the run's done. And yeah, it just really opened up that sense of flow, which was powerful. And now moving towards a second example, and this one being a bit of an emergency situation, an unexpected situation. So I primarily walk everywhere I go at the moment. I really enjoy walking. It's great to boost your testosterone levels for the men out there, especially getting up to like 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. But I had walked to the local library and was doing my thing there at the library, doing some of my online work and research. And this massive storm came in, I mean like really intense, and it hadn't started quite raining yet, but the library closed and I had to exit the building, and I wasn't prepared. I think I was in like tank top and shorts, and like the clouds were just forming, and you could, feel the shifts in the atmosphere, like the cold pressure coming in. I was just like, oh man. And sure enough, I barely get outside of the library, walking by a nearby park, and it just starts hammering down. And I had to briefly go underneath this like little awning thing, which was barely enough to keep me out of the rain. And I had to center myself there. I used some EFT tapping because I have a little bit of PTSD with storms, unfortunately. Just have had some challenging experiences. But I had to regulate my nervous system, and I still needed to get back to my home after this. And I needed to do so within a certain amount of time. So this tool actually kicked in unconsciously because I was using it so much in my day-to-day life for other tasks. And with this, it was so powerful. I was like, okay, I'm under this awning. It's raining really hard, and it would kind of stop raining and then start again. I was like, I need to get from here back to my home. And I want to do so very quickly so I don't get soaked and caught out in the rain potentially. And yeah, so I think I maybe set it for like 10, 15 minutes because I still had like a solid mile of walking. And the outcome was just to get to where I needed to be safely and peacefully and calmly. And I really just utilized this tool to keep myself focused and calm through the storm, as there was, again, this kind of like underlying stress and my mind going into hyper arousal while it was happening. So yeah, I used some tapping, some calming breath work, and then utilized this tool, and I got myself situated and like went out. And as soon as I went out, it started pouring rain again. And this was actually like a day where there was like it was like a record rainfall in like a single evening of how much rain the area that I was in had received. So like that kind of just gives you an idea. And I think it was like hailing on and off. But sure enough, I like start leaving this, it starts raining like crazy, and like my mind's starting to freak out. But I have this horizon shifting tool that's guiding my consciousness as a whole, especially the unconscious mind. So like one step at a time, I'm just making my way from point A to point B to get back home. And eventually I reached this, but like was soaked by the time I got there, and actually ended up staying mostly composed by the time I got back too. So that was a bit of an example of utilizing it in an emergency situation, or a situation that was unexpected. And again, it wasn't like life or death, but just having the stress and the intensity of the storm and being on foot and having to walk out in it. That's where I felt called to share that in a different context, hoping that it also can resonate with you. Awesome. And so finally here, before jumping off, another example or two that you could utilize for yourself with horizon shifting. Say you're just getting in your car to go to work, and you're working maybe, so many hours during the day, but ideally it's like you're leaving your house, and you can use horizon shifting as a tool in a non-emergency situation. And to start, there's a duration. You obviously want to get to work on time, so maybe it's like a 10-15 minute drive, and the halfways are going from your house. Maybe there's like a specific street or like a landmark that you could use along the way, and then getting to your work. And that could be like your halfways, is like getting to the halfway point and then getting to the destination, which would be your job. And you could actually put as many halfways as you want. You could like literally count every street. And the outcome, of course, is getting to work on time, getting there safe, getting there composed, hopefully not getting like cut off or dealing with road rage from other people, who knows. But yeah, that could be a really simple example for you if you're going from like home to work or home to the store. And then the same thing going back. It's like you have how long you want to take to get back. You have your markers or your halfways to get back to where you want to go, get back home, and then the overall outcome. Another example could be is if you're making a Facebook Live or running an event, you can say like, all right, this video I'm making right here, I want it to be 15 minutes. And my halfways are going to be these key points. And I'm going to address each one along the way, no matter what happens. And the outcome is delivering professional, high quality content, speaking with composure and a fluid cadence, and really just being in a space of like joy and contentment and service. There's so many different ways that you can blend this all together. But overall, what I really find is just like, especially with the halfways, just knowing the different points that you're going to be reaching, it's just very, very supportive for, again, accessing the flow state. It kind of helps the quantum field of reality like shift in your favor down to a molecular level, because you're setting like a clear intention. And again, this is like a Navy SEALs tool. So like these are things that they're utilizing in really chaotic situations and for their operations. And I just find fascination with that itself. So maybe give this a try and let me know how it goes for you. And I also just thank you for tuning into this video. Recently, I have created a Substack within the last month or two. This is a platform for writing. I usually do most of my writing on Facebook, but I found this platform to have a better sense of vibration and energy towards it. And I can really get a lot deeper into my writing and provide resources and tools. So you can subscribe to that for free using the link below in the comments and receive conversations just like this, and also around the topics of spirituality, health and wellness, multidimensional health and wellness, as I like to call it, and also inspirational, transformational stories from my own journey and my own awakening, especially over the last 7 to 8 years, which has been absolutely exponential. And additionally, I'll leave my Calendly link down below too. If you'd like to explore some of my one-on-one offerings, you can book a free 30-minute call. This is some of the content I blend into my personal coaching, and I'm also very connected into the angelic realms, doing energy healing and channelings for people. I also offer personal training, and I've created my own unique modality called the Integrative Ascension modality, which blends a mixture of powerful yogic modalities, but primarily EFT, breath work, meditation, and also what I would call like conscious movement, mindful movement, usually in the form of qigong, tai chi, some yoga, ecstatic dance. And I just interweave these 4 components together along with other modalities to uniquely support you along your pathway, which can be highly supportive to be received by me over the course of several weeks. So thank you so much for tuning in. If any of that resonates with you, check out the links below. And aside from that, I really hope that this video supports you. Have a beautiful and wonderful day, and thank you for tuning in.